Hello everyone, thank you for the patience during my absence. So, I've covered mainland China, Mexico, and India. Today we will be talking about what the anime and manga landscape looks like in the world's largest nation, Russia. The only time we ever hear about anime in Russia is when things go wrong, when a convention is cancelled, or the government goes after a slew of anime titles. However, there is much more to this picture than just bans. Let's get started. In the days of the Soviet Union, during anime's first boom in the 60s and 70s, it only makes sense that not many anime made it past the iron wall that was the state apparatus in the USSR. All television broadcasts were state-owned. The two most notable to make it onto the screens of Soviet citizens were Prince of the Sun and The Flying Phantom Ship. Prince of the Sun was the first major release by world-renowned screenwriter Hayao Miyazaki, released in 1968. The Flying Phantom Ship was released a year later. The art and animation was done by the aforementioned Miyazaki, and the film itself was directed by Hiroshi Ikeda and written by Shotaro Ishinomori. Fun fact, the voice of Goku and Gilmon, Masako Nozawa, also played the main character of this film, Hayato, all the way back then. As far as what other animes broadcasted in the Soviet era, I couldn't find any specific titles, except for one more. According to the Wikipedia page of the popular Russian media broadcaster 2x2, which we will cover later, in mid-1991, they broadcast the anime Macron 1. That anime initially came out in 1981, but was brought to Russia a decade later. It was a mecha anime created by Takashi Shudo. That series was followed by two films in 82 and 85, and if this Wikipedia is to be believed, Macron 1, also called Go Shogun in Japanese, was perhaps the last anime to break through Soviet censors, before the end of the Soviet Union in December 1991. During the turbulent times of the newly independent Russian Federation, as the Russian economy adapted to more conventional capitalistic practices, more anime titles were able to make it into Russia. The 90s saw the rise in popularity of Sailor Moon in Russia. Apparently, Sailor Moon is, to Russian anime fans, what Dragon Ball Z is to American fans, and what Saint Seiya is to Mexican fans. It was the first superstar title of the Russian anime scene. Toei's adaptation of Naoko Takeuchi's series truly was an international juggernaut in its time, and continues to be venerated as an anime classic to this day. Soon after, Naruto and One Piece followed and captured the imagination of Russian viewers. Both series remain very respected within the nation. Later down the line, in contrast to most other places I've studied, most lists and statistic compilings put Fairy Tail near the top of the most watched anime series in Russia. So that series has a cult following over there. Other well-liked series in the world's largest nation are Black Clover, Bleach, Sword Art Online, Blue Exorcist, Attack on Titan, and Re:Zero. These ones seem to be the most enjoyed and well-respected amongst Russian anime fandom from what I could find. I think one more thing worth mentioning is that this is the first nation I've studied for this series of videos in which Dragon Ball was not a heavy hitter. Due to poor broadcasting times and poor image quality, the series was actually cancelled after 26 episodes on the 2x2 TV channel. Link in the description to a cool video by the YouTuber Bonk going through the 100 most watched anime in Russia according to the website Yummy Anime. But yeah, speaking of 2x2, they've come up a few times now, so let's discuss where all of these anime are actually being processed and broadcast from for the Russian audiences. 2x2, also sometimes called Twice 2, up to now is the most prominent channel that shows anime in Russia. Founded in the Soviet days in 1989, they showed anime as early as the 90s, as I mentioned before, and in the ensuing decades of the new Russian Federation, they have broadcast a plethora of animated series from all over the world, not just anime. Since 2017, they've actually been part of the Gazprom umbrella. Gazprom is the biggest oil and gas company in Russia and one of the biggest on Earth, so now they have a seemingly bottomless pit of money to bring more anime to Russia. However, their monopoly on the genre on TV is being challenged by a new channel. A collaboration between digital television and VGTRK, an anime TV channel called Fan, is currently on air. The report I read by Broadband TV News also stated that they would broadcast Chinese and Korean animations as well, and even animations out of the US and Russia itself. On the internet side of things, Crunchyroll has been available for a while, but it's recently been blocked by the Russian government because of disputes over age restriction systems and filters. I'm not sure if this has been resolved yet as of this recording. I know Russia has access to Netflix, but I'm not sure what anime shows they have on it, if any, considering their version leaves out many shows that broadcast elsewhere. The local Russian streaming service, Manga, also seems to have some anime options, while another site, Animedia Online, seems to be dedicated to anime. Animedia Online had Russian dubs for their series on their website. That brings me actually to my next point. Who in Russia dubs anime? The three biggest companies that I could find that voice over and distribute Russian dubs are Reanimedia, Mega Anime, and MC Entertainment. Reanimedia was founded in 2007, collaborating with Reanimedia Japan. They have worked on series such as The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, Gurren Lagann, Berserk, Wolf Children, Serial Experiments Lane, and Evangelion. The studio is based in the Russian city of Voronezh. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right, I apologize. But also distributes titles for nearby nations such as Belarus, Kazakhstan, and countries in the Baltic. Mega Anime is a studio based in Moscow, and serves not only Russia, but Ukraine, as well as the Baltic and other former Soviet republics. They've worked on series such as Trigun, Fullmetal Alchemist, Death Note, and Bleach. MC Entertainment is the oldest of the bunch, founded in 2000, serving Russia and Kazakhstan. They also produce non-anime from all over the world and dub it into Russian. But the notable anime that they have worked on are Afro Samurai, Black Lagoon, Full Metal Panic, Ghost in the Shell, Hellsing, and Samurai Champloo. They also own the rights to the distribution of the Flying Phantom Ship film that I mentioned earlier. But back in the 60s, the film was actually dubbed by Soyuz Multfilm, a studio founded in 1935 in Moscow who mostly specializes in their own animations. One last little side note here. There's actually a popular Japanese language voice actress who is of Russian descent. Zhenya Davidyuk, born in Novosibirsk, Russia, is considered a rarity. She's a fluent Japanese-speaking voice actress, doing her work primarily in Japan, one of the most homogenous first world nations in the world. Davidyuk is a host, singer, and was the Russian language advisor for the Black Lagoon anime. She was cast as Lady Doubt in the anime adaptation of A Mysterious Joker, which was a series written by Hideyasu Takahashi, Clara in a Girls und Panzer film, and she's also Desna in the Azure Striker Gunvault series of video games. Okay, so we've talked about dubs, TV, and streaming services. Where does this leave the manga side of things? Generally, like a lot of other nations in the world, comic books and manga alongside anime had a stigma of being children's entertainment and not suitable for older audiences. But that paradigm has been shifting in recent years. Russia actually has quite a few publishers of manga. Surprisingly, it was actually easier to find manga publishers than it was to find anime dubbing studios. These are just a few of the publishers that translate manga into Russian. Comics Factory, Comics Art, Sakura Press, Exmo, AST, XL Media, Istari Comics, RIM, and Palma Press. In terms of where you can buy Russian language manga, 3 sites I caught onto were Ozon, Ruslania, and 28OI. 28OI, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm just gonna call it OI to not embarrass myself. I apologize. Ozon started as a bookstore in 1998 and has become one of the largest e-commerce sites in Russia, sometimes called the Amazon of Russia. Ruslania is actually a Finnish bookstore, but also sells Russian language comics, books, and sometimes manga, with a physical location in Helsinki. 28OI is a Russian comic book store with a good amount of manga selections, with a physical location in St. Petersburg. Additionally, there's also Chuk and Geek, physical location in Moscow, who have various manga and comic selections, while it's also possible to buy some Russian translated mangas on the actual Amazon.com. And of course, disclaimer, just like basically any nation in the world, piracy and or using VPNs to circumvent local restrictions is common, and gets Russian viewers to access more anime and manga as a result. So a lot of people can actually see things through scanlations and whatnot. Now, some popular conventions where fans of anime, manga, and associated mediums can meet up include Russia's Comic Con, which is in Moscow, AniCon from St. Petersburg, the Igromir Gaming Expo in Moscow, Russian Games Week in Moscow, and the Voronezh Anime Festival. I would also include AniDag, an otaku culture convention that's meant to take place in Dagestan, but in recent years that hasn't happened. and it was not because of COVID. This helps me transition into our next and final section. So, Anidag is a convention that actually happened successfully in 2017, but when the convention's organizers tried to do it again in 2019, a few hundred conservative reactionaries threatened the attendees with violence and made them cancel the event. This incident divided the residents of Mashakala, the city where the event was meant to be held. The conservative mob was criticized by some residents when they spoke to the media, while others reaffirmed that the convention threatens the traditional culture of Dagestan. However, these moral crusades are not just restricted to Dagestan. The Russian government and its judiciary system has systematically targeted the anime industry on multiple occasions. You have probably read multiple times about the Russian courts banning different animes ranging from Death Note to Attack on Titan to Tokyo Ghoul to the entire genre of isekai at one point. The courts and their supporters claim that these different animes were a bad influence on Russian youth and were upending traditional Russian values. You know, the usual complaints when governments go after anime and manga. Furthermore, Russia is sometimes considered the most homophobic first world nation in the world. So any work of fiction, manga, anime, or otherwise with same-sex themes, couples, or overtones will be targeted sometimes by the government and other times by homophobic vigilantes on personal crusades. There are bookstores and other sellers of works of fiction who resist these crusades and sell LGBT content in spite of the more volatile elements of the country. I've linked a cool blog post by Masha Zidanova of WWAC talking about her experience in one of these bookstores breaking the mold in Russia. Online, consumers are able to use pirate sites or VPNs to watch or read things that they would otherwise not be allowed to by Russian law. So there are people finding ways around the constant battle between the anime and manga industry and the Russian judicial system. So this is what the outlook of the Russian anime and manga fandom and scene looks like in Russia today, at least as far as I could find. The scene is constantly growing, and there are a decent amount of official sources to watch anime and read manga. However, the constant challenge of the two mediums in Russia will always be the fickle government and judicial system, as well as conservative reactionaries going after anime and manga fandom. However, Russian anime and manga fans have been dealing with this for about 3 decades now, so I'm confident they can keep persevering. So that's my video. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you so much for your patience. I've been working on a new project. I reinstated my sports channel and I worked on a few projects on it, so if you care at all about sports, feel free to check those out. Links are in the description. And I might put like a box or something that you can click on. But once again, thank you for your patience. Thank you so much for waiting, those who, watch my channel regularly, and have a wonderful day.